Good morning, good morning. Ooh, we just concentrate on reversing. I hope you're well. We're doing things a bit oddly today because it's Wednesday and normally I would have had the day off. Well, what I mean is we actually just booked Wednesday off because we fitted all the other patients in the other days of the week. So we're going an odd way home today because normally this is a school on the left, normally this gate isn't open, but because there are roadworks, they've opened the gate. So it's a bit of a shortcut for me. I shouldn't really be wearing this coat because it's massively hot. So, no, we'll be all right. Now, I don't like YouTube videos where people start off by apologising for not having made a video for a while because, first of all, I don't owe you anything. I don't have to make any videos, let alone frequent videos. And secondly, you may have just watched my last one. So as far as you're concerned, it's instantaneous. So it doesn't really matter. Time means nothing on YouTube. And it means nothing and recorded, sound and voice, etc. So, but the reason why I haven't done anything is because, to be honest with you, there's not been that much to report. On the world stage, Trump continues to issue executive orders, doing stuff that most people would think are perfectly sensible, like making sure illegal aliens can't vote and making sure that the American taxpayer doesn't have to pay money to house illegal immigrants, etc., etc. All stuff that in this country probably the population will be equally happy with and would want to happen here as well, but which isn't going to happen because we have got the Kier Starmer. It's the equivalent of Joe Biden, really. We're about 5 years behind the Americans in terms of getting our affairs sorted out. So while Trump has appointed Musk to try and cut down on the cost of government, we're still at the £1 billion for you. You have $1 billion. You have $1 billion stage of the Labour Party, and people have come to a conclusion pretty quickly about the sort of government and the sort of economy we're going to have under Labour. So it's going to be a tax and spend government like every other Labour government that's ever been, with the unfortunate problem from their point of view is that the pips are already squeaking in regards to tax. So there's not that much potential really to raise taxes, and we know from experience that there's absolutely zero potential to reduce government spending, certainly under a Labour government. The Tories are in disarray, mainly because they cannot answer the question, yes, that's all very well, but why didn't you do that? You were in power for 14 years, and now you're saying, you're shouting the odds saying this Labour Party should do this, Labour Party should do that, whereas in fact you never did it, so they've had to shut up. They know that nothing's really going to change for them until much later, several years later, 3-4 years before they're even going to start thinking about fighting the next election. So the whole thing is just it's just a case of, it's almost like starting a 5-year prison sentence. You're just got to get used to the fact that you're going to be stuck in this place, this UK, Labour-led UK, for the next 5 years, and you've just got to make the best of it you can. So on the dental front, there's not much. I've had to put my accounts in, which we do basically. I mean, we give them our bank accounts statements, and basically they just do our accounts from the bank statements. From what I can tell, every payment on the bank statement can be identified, can't it? Our biggest problem for them is the fact that we've got an account with Kraken, which is a cryptocurrency exchange. And what we do is we keep a balance on there, which we call a sort of reserve account. It's inspired by a company called MicroStrategy, and now just called Strategy. And he's a guy who realised that they took quite a big position in Bitcoin, and people started buying shares in the company, which was a software company, because they had shares in Bitcoin, and people were prepared to pay a premium for the shares, and so the company went up. The actual value of the company went up faster than the Bitcoin they were buying, and so what they did was they then issued some more shares. So it's a bit like you issue. They issued shares and then they kept buying Bitcoin, and because the cost of Bitcoin that they owned kept going up, then they were able to. It's a sort of a virtuous cycle. Critics of strategy will say that in a prolonged downward spell, they would get into a prolonged vicious cycle where the people sell the stock because it's not worth more than the Bitcoin, and so they then have to sell the Bitcoin to pay the shareholders back, and etc., etc. So it works one way on the up and another way on the down. But the point is that they bought so many Bitcoin now, and they did it so early on and bought them for so little, that in fact the reversal is pretty much. I mean, there would have to be like a wholesale slaughter in the crypto space to undermine what Michael Saylor's doing at Strategy. So we quite like that idea. So what we did was we liked the idea of basically holding our reserve cash in crypto, because it retains its value better. It retains its purchasing power. Well, and this was well before inflation was 10%. We could see that the M2 or M3 money supply was going up and up and up, and that always presages inflation. And so we decided to sort of try and hedge against the inflation risk by converting our money, our English money, into something that we felt wouldn't depreciate quite so much, which in our case was a variety of cryptos. Although we do hold a sterling balance as well on the exchange, but that's not because we want to hold sterling on there. It's because we want to have sterling handy in case there's a massive dip in the Bitcoin price, and we can pick up some Bitcoin, at a bargainous price. So, and it's working out quite well for us so far. We're pretty hedged now against inflation, and I'd say our Treasury, as we call it, which is what Saylor calls the Strategy Reserve, the Treasury is around about £40,000-50,000, and I'm very happy to let it sit there and basically just maintain the purchasing power of the excess profit that we've made. And it's always useful, isn't it, to be able to dip into a fund of 40,000-50,000 if you've got a tax bill coming in, a corporation tax bill coming in or something. So that's all gone off to the accountant, and then I'm sure there'll be questions about the reserve. And they were very funny. They were very sniffy about the fact that we bought crypto in the early days, because they'd swallowed hook, line, and sinker the idea, the establishment idea that anyone who bought crypto was being scammed. And this was when banks were refusing and still are to transfer money to cryptocurrency exchanges because they're convinced that they know what to do with your money better than you do, and so they won't authorize the transfer. That's happening a little bit less now because some of the major exchanges like Kraken and Coinbase are pretty well visible now and have been around for years and are regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority as the crypto asset exchanges. But we don't. We're not. We have a business account, so it's all done through Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering and everything. But we don't hold an account on there for the purpose of trading. So none of the money that we've got on there is subject to. It's not profit or income. So it just sits there, fat, dumb, and happy, and against the eventuality that we may need to draw some of it out. So, as far as just on the follow-up for a few of the other things, I'm still seeing the diabetic nurse because she's all we've got, and you need to wait 5 weeks to get an appointment with her, and I've asked to see her because my blood sugar is never below 8. It should be 5 to 7. It's never below 8. So I just want her to tell me that I'm on the right medication and I don't need to go up anymore because and I might think seriously about getting one of those permanent blood glucose monitors, the ones that you stick on your arm, although they're hellishly expensive. Yeah, but Angry, I know what you're saying. So Angry, you just told us you've got £50,000 in reserve in the bank, and you can put it through the business as diabetes monitoring equipment, and claim it as a tax expense, which I'm sure is what a lot of diabetics do, especially diabetic clinicians. And it's quite true. I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't. Where the hell has he been that he's throwing stones about all over the place? I wouldn't want to become hypoglycemic in the surgery. Wouldn't be good, would it? When I'm exercising my fine intellectual skills and my examination, diagnosis and planning, or my fine motor skills, preparing multiple crowns or a bridge or something, and I'm hypo. So I'm sure I could justify it as being necessary for my work. But I'm still a bit reluctant to do that. They keep testing me and they keep nagging me to go on statins and they keep nagging me to go on blood pressure tablets. So I've finally given in, which I suppose everybody does, and I'm now on 3 tablets. So I'm on metformin for the diabetes. I'm on something that begins with an R. All I can think of is Rohypnol, and it's not that. Or it might be Rohypnol. I might have just forgotten the name. I'm on rosuvastatin for the high cholesterol. It's only a tiny little bit high, but rosuvastatin, and that's only because I've got a friend who's a consultant in A&E, and I told him that they've recommended I go on a statin, but I don't really want to because I don't want to get medicalised. I don't want to be one of those people that's got a big old Tupperware box of tablets that you have to take every day, the right ones. But sure enough, he said, look, if you're going to go on a statin, he said, go on rosuvastatin, it's brilliant. Now, I don't know. He may be a sponsor of a clinical trial paid for by rosuvastatin, for all I know. But anyway, he was quite emphatic that rosuvastatin was the statin to have if you had to have a statin, and apparently I do. So they put me on that. The doctor was a little bit surprised. I got an interesting phone call with him the other day. He's yesterday it was. I'll tell you something in a minute, right? Had a phone call with him yesterday, and the last time I spoke with the doctor over the phone was the time I was diagnosed as diabetic, and he rang me up to tell me that my HbA, which is the amount of blood, the amount of sucrose that's attached to your red blood cells, was very high, and so. But he didn't tell me that straight away. He went, "Oh, well, we made a blood test. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This might be the way to give news to a female, but it's not the way to give news to a male. The male wants the punchline first, but then he wants the joke." So then, after 10 minutes, he finally worked up to saying, "Oh, and by the way, you got diabetes." And so this time, when the doctor rang me up, and he started off by saying, "Well, basically we've checked a load of stuff and it all looks pretty good." And I said to him straight away, I said, "Look, can I just stop you there?" I said, "Last time I spoke to a doctor on the phone, he spent 10 minutes beating around the bush, and then he told me I got diabetes." I said, can you skip straight to the chase and tell me the worst thing first, and then tell me all the good things afterwards?" So he said, yeah, well, he said, "You're, we know your blood pressure's a bit high, and your statins are a bit high, so we want to put you on a statin and a blood pressure tablet." Now, I'm not measuring my blood pressure. And that's because, to be honest with you, having to worry about everything that I have to worry about. Look how neat this field is on the right. See how lovely those lines are? So, what with the surgery and the family, which I won't go into, which has been a bit of a nightmare, and, the staff, and then, oh, God, I'm supposed to bring a computer home. I've forgotten that now. I've forgotten. For the 4th day in a row, I've forgotten to bring the computer home. Never mind, do it tomorrow. And, and I haven't got one of these. It's all very well for her. She just puts this thing on your arm and presses a button, and it gives you the blood. No, I haven't got one of those. I know it's like, so what? Just go and get one, and you should have one anyway. And if you want to take your blood pressure, you should. But I'm testing my blood sugar. I'm pricking my finger in the evening before I go to bed, doing my blood sugar. I'm pricking my finger in the morning, doing my blood sugar. I'm doing my weight. I'm taking a metformin. Now I'm taking a statin. And I'm taking a ramipril, which is the blood pressure tablet. So, give me a break, right? I've got... It's like a bridge too far. I just cannot take my blood pressure all the time as well. I know they'd like me to. That's fine. And I'd like everyone to chew up a disclosing tablet every day. But it's unrealistic. You have to understand at a certain point it's unrealistic. Now, I've got to say, these blood pressure tablets have got me feeling pretty laid back. I do feel like my pressure, that's my caravan, you can see it there. You can just see it from that little bit of road. It's got me very chilled out, and that was one of the things that they said when I was at dental school, that people don't take. They don't take their blood pressure tablets because they like being pumped up, and they take their blood pressure tablets and they go and therefore stop taking them. But to be honest, because my father had a severe stroke, I'm quite prepared to keep taking them. But I've got to say, based on my first day, apart from making you cough, I think that's this thick coat. They are. I'm not exactly spaced out, but I do feel like more relaxed than normal. Yeah, come on. So, we'll have to see how that goes. Because, you know, with all these tablets, the effect gets slightly more pronounced, doesn't it? The longer you're on them. So, I don't know what, I might just sit on the, I think if I can trust myself to sit on the lawnmower, I might mow the grass today. Or I might do something else. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. So that's it, really. There's a few other updates on the dental side, you know, about that. The woman who complained about the full dentures and claimed a full refund, even though she only had the upper one remade. I haven't heard a bean from her. Doesn't mean anything. And the bloke I did the 10 crowns on, 6 crowns and 2 bridges down the bottom. We fitted those, and we're now in the middle of doing his full upper, and that's going really well. I'm really pleased we're doing that. So anyway, perhaps I'll talk to you later. Bye.